Good evening, or should I say good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of BBL Off the Bench podcast. I'm your host, Ross, coach of the Cock to Head. Um, just before we start, we'd like to pass on our condolences to the Webb family after the tragic passing of Carl Webb, who had motor neuron disease. It's a sad thing to see yesterday. It's a sad day for rugby league altogether. So, to the family, I'd like to pass on your condolences to them. Um, so today we've got Timmy on the pod. Welcome, Tim. How are you? How did you go this week?
Morning, Roscoe. Yeah, mate, not too bad around. Nothing special, but plodding along consistently, I guess you'd say. 106.4 for the round. Saw a nice green arrow of about nearly 2.5K. So I'm up to just over 4K now. So but it is fairly compact. I'm about 200 points out of the top 1,000. And I think it's 250 points out of sort of 750 to 500 or something like that. So it is still fairly compact. At the same time, the guys that are leading have got a nice jump. I think they're a good 300 or 400 points in front of me already, which is crazy to think about.
Yes. And lastly, we've got a special guest. We have Darren from the Supercoach Hub. Welcome, Darren. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, you go, Roscoe. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us.
And I know that you had a good round this round, so let's hear how you went, mate, because you had a crack of a round.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky. I had a pretty good round. I scored 1,349, which was 81st overall for the round. It's bumped me up to 263rd overall. So yeah, looking pretty good shape at the moment.
Oh, nice. Well, I had a measly 9-11. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great round, but when you're sitting in 18K after the first round, it's not hard to move up places. So I moved up 5,800 spots to 12834. So at least I'm heading in the right direction. It's green arrows, which is the main thing, I suppose. So this round, yeah.
What was your round score? Sorry, Roscoe.
I got 9-11.
Yeah.
So I didn't even crack 1,000. I was expecting to lose places, but I guess because I was so far back. It's probably why I moved up spots, but yeah, that's
fun.
Mate, who you calling?
What's that?
911. Who you calling?
Yeah. That one. Seriously.
Quick, what's the number for 911?
All right. So round two was obviously as all done and dusted. Now it was quite an interesting round. There was some massive scores out there. Obviously, Matty Short pumped out, was it 240, I think, for Matt Short. We also had some other decent scores in there. Overton with a 195, Tall Paul with a 152, Hardy with a 130. So some big scores in there. Jordan 120, but then there was also some duds too. I'm sure we all had them. I know I did. I had Conley 6, Clark 7, Dermage 4. Timmy, what about you? What was your who were your duds for the week?
Mate, where do I start? Look, Joe Clark for a 7. That was very helpful of him. I'd love to not have him in my team this week, even though he's on a double. Love to switch him for De Kock, but at the moment he's not much better either. So yeah, rocking a hard place there. Look, Joe Clark. I had Jamie Overton as a little bit of a pod play, which I was pretty happy with. Yeah, look, looped Matt Short, had Darcy Short for his 94 in the first game. Outside of that, everything else was sort of under our magic 55 number mark that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Hard part was Chaudhry's 57 on the pine, Fraser McGurk's 90 on the pine, Sam Billings 50 sitting on the pine. So those three alone scored more than, well, pretty much everyone in my team except for Overton, Matty Short and Darcy Short. So, yeah, plenty of points on the pine. Could have been so much better, but is what it is.
David Payne was pretty average, wasn't he? I mean, a lot of us jumped on him thinking he was going to go well, but he didn't have a good game. I think he got about 86 points over both games in the end. What about you, Darren? I can't imagine with your score you would have had too many flops.
Well, funny enough when you say that, I actually, obviously I can't complain, but my bowling stocks weren't real good. I had Zampa, Richo, Sutherland down in my bowl. They're all, pretty low in the 20 something. Strangely enough, David Payne was my highest bowler. The other one that stuffed it up for me, and I'm sure plenty of others, was the old Tom Curran saga. Just with that short time beforehand, what to do, I ended up reversing it back to Nisa, not knowing that his captain doesn't want to bowl him more than 2 overs. So I copped a 21 from Nisa, and in doing that, sort of the domino effect, I ended up leaving Fraser McGurk on the bench for his 90. So I would have, I'm not complaining, but I would have loved to have old Rooster in the side and crack the 1400. But overall, not pretty happy. Few trade outs ready to go, but it is what it is.
I guess we should talk about.
Sorry, Roscoe. Interesting point there on Nisa. He's I think, is it only once so far he's bowled his all 4 overs? So
I think he only bowled 3. I think he's gone 2-3-2, something
he
like that.
Bowled,
yeah, there you go. So
he hasn't bowled 4 any games yet.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So obviously coming into this tournament with a bit of soreness and pulled out of the Prime Minister's 11, I wonder whether there's a little bit more to it than that, or are they really just trying to rest him for the later on in the season?
You'd think there'd have to be something to it. He's bowled a maiden straight up, so he's and in the field. I was watching him in the field. He looked fine. There was no trouble. I mean, Heat keep winning, so it's hard to knock it. But from a Supercoach point of view, you wonder why he's not. But yeah, I think they might just be managing him and didn't need him. And I think tall balls come from nowhere and just delivering, so they're pumping the overs into him.
I wonder if there's any pressure from the ACB as well, or Cricket Australia, whatever the hell they're called these days, because obviously he's so close to making that test squad, whether it's sort of, look, if he's not quite 100%, can you guys just go gentle?
Well, I don't think he is close, because, I mean, you've got Morrison and Boland are ahead of him. So realistically, unless there's some restings or something, look, he could get a game against West Indies possibly later in that series. But it was very disappointing, because I as soon as we found out it was named, I was straight on him, and I took the VC off Munro and put it onto him. So that was disappointing. But I'm glad I sold him this week. I sold him and Munro. That was probably the only 2 things I did right, and bought Sutherland in. And Sutherland didn't really perform either, but I didn't want to have to pay the overs for Sutherland either this round. So anyway, I guess we'll just have a quick chat on the Tom Curran saga. I'm pretty sure we've all got our opinions on it. For me, I think it was pretty disrespectful what he did and what he said to the umpire. And I personally think 4 games wasn't enough. I think he should have copped the season for it. What do you guys think, Darren?
Yeah, mate, no disagreement from me. He's a goose. Like, honestly, I think the umpire handled it pretty well. Like, I thought he was quite lenient. He did that first run where he sort of said, hey, you can't do that. Then he ran down the other end. So the umpire followed him, spoke to him, told him where to go, and then he's charged the umpire and supposedly given him a spray afterwards. So I think he's 4 weeks is likely. I think he's absolutely millions to get off. He's lucky he's only got that, I think.
I can't believe they're even bothering contesting it and fighting the charge, because I just think they're just completely wasting their time. Honestly. Timmy?
Yeah, look, boys, I'm pretty strong on this one. Being a school teacher, I deal with this stuff every day. And I work in a fairly low socioeconomic school, so I do literally deal with this kind of attitude every day. Yeah, look, it is interesting. I think what was really interesting, for the most part, I found interesting was in the telecast when they had a chat about it afterwards, and the female commentator sort of kept saying, I don't know if he could have heard. And I went, well, I thought the umpire was really clear. He said something to him when he went through his run up the first time, and they said, mate, you can't do it. So then he went down the other end and tried to do the same thing at the other end, thinking, they're not going to let me do it at this end, so I'll just go and do it at the other end and work it out. Obviously, he might bowl from both ends, so he's got to get his run up right at both ends. I totally get that. But then the umpire was very clear, standing in the popping crease and going, mate, you can't do that. And when he said, you can run here, but you can't run there. And he said, why not? And then he still told him, geez, how many chances do you have to give someone? It's at our school, we have a saying, safe, respectful learning. So generally, I'll give a kid an opportunity. If they swear at me once, I'll go, hang on a second, mate, I don't appreciate it. Most of the time, they'll continue on and you go, hey, that's not safe, respectful learning. You give them that 3-strike thing and then, mate, enjoy your suspension. Let's be honest, it was pretty much what that was. They gave him the warning first when he ran down the first time. He walked up the other end and said, mate, I've already told you don't do it, so don't do it. And then he still wanted to have a go and said, here you go. So 4 weeks or 4 games. I mean, in BBL, that's nothing. I mean, obviously it's not nothing. I guess technically it's half the season, but he's bloody lucky. He should probably go for a bit longer, in my opinion, or rub him out for the series. Look, what do you do? It's not a good look for young cricketers either. Like, look at the hype and the amount of young kids that go to the cricket and everything else. It's obviously drummed out massively in the media. It's not a good look.
I mean, I'm not going to stick up for the umpire, but instead of standing there and stopping him from running in, he should have just walked up to him and said something to him, like, I'm going to warn you again not to run on the pitch or whatever. But
I think he was doing that anyway. Why get in the guy's face? She said, oh, well, he's 20 metres away, so could he really hear him? When you're pointing and stuff as well.
Oh, he knew.
And not to mention, it's absolutely in the rules. And I can't imagine that's like Tom Curran's probably played what? Let's be legit. 400-500 games of cricket in his career so far. So ever since he was a young tacker. So you absolutely know you're not allowed to run on the pitch. And they tell that. My young bloke's 8 years old and plays under 12s. Like, they tell that to him then.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think he's very lucky. As I said, I don't think they should be contesting the ban. I think they're pretty much wasting their time. He should have got more than 4 games just for swearing at the umpire. But
well,
anyway,
and again, that comes back as well. Like, why not get it for longer? The whole concept of telling him to, no, I'm just going to do what I like, but then swearing at him as well is just, it's not on.
Well, I hope he gets fined and match stock. I don't know what's happening there, but very silly and for an experienced cricketer, not on.
Yeah, give him 4 weeks and basically take. I mean, what do they play? 10 games, so we're talking 40%. Take 40% of his season fee off him.
Exactly.
I bet that hurts a lot.
Yeah. All right, so we'll crack into the games. First game today at 3:30 Sydney time. For those, don't forget there is an early game today.
Early start.
Stars against the Thunder. Stars are also obviously on the double, so I guess we'll speak to them about them first. Darren, who do you think the best players are to target for the Stars for this double? I mean, they've not forgetting that they do have a double round 5-2, which we'll talk about some of the players who obviously won't be available for both games of their double, but they haven't exactly been playing well. But who do you think's the best ones to be going after?
Yeah, that's the thing I think with the Stars is they have been pretty ordinary. You'd think the only way is up for them, but you don't know. Obviously, Maxwell, I think, is the number one. If you don't have him, if you're one of the crazy people that apparently were selling him off last week, I'm not sure why you would do that, but sounded like a few were, then I'd definitely be getting him back. It's at Lavington, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Albury,
yeah. Apparently it's a batter's paradise. Close to 400 was scored there last time. So, you may look to the batters. I'm interested if Steketty's named in getting him on board. I've heard a few whispers that he actually was available last game and didn't get picked. So I'm not really sure what the go there is. I mean, he played Prime Minister's 11 and Stars weren't doing well. You would have thought he was straight back in. So I'm not sure what the go is there, but I'll just keep an eye on that. So if he's named, he's someone I'd go. I'm still interested in the 2 Pakistani boys, Ralph and Mia. I should add, I only have Maxwell in my team at the moment from the Stars. So I'm interested in those 2. There is the outside chance that Pakistan might let them join the team in New Zealand in early January. And if that's the case, I think they do sneak in their round 5 double as well. So whether I want to risk that or not, if I had to choose, possibly Ralph, although Murr did look really good. So both of them are on the line. I'm possibly interested in taking a flyer in Webster as well. I'm not really sure what his role is going to be. He didn't bowl last game, although Stoyne, took the odds and bowled himself. So I know whether Maxwell will look differently. I guess it depends on that lineup, but yeah, they're the four that I'm looking at the moment. Pretty hard with the Stars, but looking at that schedule and that draw is drawing me in because they do go that double in round 5. Webster's sort of appealing there. Steckety's appealing there that they're likely to stay with the team. Touch wood. And then just those two other Pakistani bowlers are the ones I'm looking at the moment.
I had a bit of a look. There's a lot of people jumping on Stoinis. He's one that we've all owned in the past and been burnt several times, but he can also burn you not owning him as well. So having 2 doubles in the next 3 rounds and not owning him could hurt. But the only thing for me is he's not really bowling much and he's not batting very well. He didn't have a great series in the World Cup either. So
if he stays at number 5, though, I'm not sure how good of a buy he is. Like, do we really think he's going to bowl? Like, he didn't bowl the first game. He bowled himself when he was captain and Maxi and others were out. So I don't know that role of probably not bowling, maybe bowling 1 or 2 and batting at number 5. It's not really good. If you took the name away and you looked at that, would you really get him? I mean, I know Stoin is a gun when he's on, but if you took the name away, would you be interested in that role? I don't know.
I think there's too many mouths to feed there bowling wise. Like as you said, he didn't bowl the first game, I don't think either. And then so you're gonna have Rogers and Harper opening, you're gonna have Maxi at 3, and then 4's gonna be the Webster or Stoiner. The other one that I've noticed a lot of people jumping on is Cardi too, which is interesting because he's gonna bat like 6, won't bowl. Not sure why he's so highly traded in this week. What's your thoughts on that one, Timmy?
Yeah, look, I don't know. My young bloke, strangely enough, is really keen on Cardi. Brought him in. Actually started with him, which was even stranger. But look, I don't know. I've only got Maxi at the moment. I've got 4 Renegades already, so I'm probably leaning more towards trying to find a place for some of the Stars, especially with they got a double, single, then a double. So one way or another, I've got to get a few more in there. I'm not really sold on too many. I'm pretty keen on Ralph. Stoinis, I'm not a massive fan on. I just think he goes too cold too often, and you don't know what his place in the side is. I mean, obviously his place in the side is okay, as in job security, but as far as bowling, he's just too hot and cold. He might bowl 3 one week and not bowl at all the next week, so you just don't know. Look, I'm pretty keen on Bo Webster and Steckety. I think both of those will probably find a way into my team, especially if Steckety is definitely named for the for both games.
What's your thoughts on Webster bowling?
I don't think he will. He may look. There may be games where he may bowl, like at the SCG. He may get a bowl on their game on Boxing Day. But we saw yesterday that the Sixers went in with 3 spinners and didn't bowl Joel Davies at all. So he didn't bowl. I think Stephen O'Keefe bowled his 4 overs. I think Murphy bowled 3 or 4 overs too. But it's risky, isn't it? Really, I mean, batting
Are you
at
still
4.
happy to have him, Timmy, if he doesn't bowl?
I don't think I'd have him if he's not going to bowl.
Because he's
I
probably
think going into a double. I think going into a double game round, the fact that he is bat and bowl, I think that's going to help as well, though. So you've got a few more moving parts and can make things work, especially if it's like a loop or something like that you're going to run him through. Yeah, that's the hard part. If I bring him in, he'll probably be a bench loop for me. And I guess see how he goes with the first game.
You really want to have 163k player as a bench loop, though, right? That's the only thing, isn't it? Like,
I've done stupider things. I've done stupider things already this season. So yeah.
But then again, I'm sure a lot of us are hanging on to Matt Short and having him sitting on the pine at 278k as well. So you know.
I don't know. Look, at the moment, I'm more keen than off him, I guess. Yeah, well
He's
obviously
likely
a
to
lot of
bat-
stuff will change depending on which team actually gets named for that first game.
He's likely to bat at 3 though, isn't he? Isn't a Maxi locked into 4?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Maxi could bat. It could be.
Pretty sure Maxi was 4 in the first game, so you think Webster's likely 3. He's a good batsman on that road, and as a fielder, he's actually a pretty good fielder and gets in spots where he gets those catches as well. So yeah, I'm a bit with you. I'm sort of more yes than no. Would be lovely if he bowls. I might have to go back and have a look last year and see what the lineup was when he bowled, because he bowled a lot last year.
And I was actually surprised. I think he will do some bowling. That's just my personal opinion, but I think he will. And it wouldn't surprise me if he bowls over Stoinis. Stoinis, I don't know, he certainly Webster bowled more often than Stoinis did last season. I can't really see why that would be any different. It's not like when Stoinis went to the World Cup, he was bowling 4 overs or 5 overs each game. So I'd be surprised if.
I think Webster's the 6th choice if it gets to that before Stoinis.
I think there's more versatility with Webster too. The fact he can bowl medium pace and bowl spin.
Yeah.
And I'll watch him sometimes during games. He'll start over and bowl and spin, and then he'll start bowling medium paces depending on the batter too. So
yeah, he can change it up pretty good.
Yeah. Look, if he bats, 3 and 4, there's not much difference between the two. Stars, they have a tendency to collapse. They don't, Harper hasn't been in great form. Tom Rogers hasn't been in great form. So yeah, look, there's a couple of players that I haven't jumped on yet that I'm kind of sitting here going, I'm going to be death riding them, literally. And I think he's going to be one of them, unfortunately. But actually, talking on top, Sam Harper, I did start him. Obviously, they had the double the first round, and he didn't do too well. But you guys aren't too keen on him.
It's
let's face it, keeper's been a bit of a mud bath already at the start this year. No one, other than Philippi, no one's really done any good.
Yeah, look, at the moment, I've got Joe Clark up there and I've got Sam Billings up there as well. I may even end up leaving Sam Billings up there as to sort of use as a loop option. So yeah, I don't know. It'll depend. A lot will depend on whether I bring in Quinton de Kock or not. If I bring in de Kock, I'll put him down in the bat, and then I'll be able to move him around accordingly. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that one.
Darren?
I actually have Billings and Whiteman up in my keeper spot at the moment, so I have to get a keeper in. So there's that choice of 3, and Sammy Boy's at the bottom at the moment. It's between de Kock and Clark. Just have to work out whether I spend a little bit extra to get Quinton, and whether we think he's finally gonna show some form, or whether I take the cheaper option and go Clark. It's I have to jug around my finances as well. I'm hanging on to Matty short at the moment, Darcy short, but he might be expendable. I've got Overton and I've got Walter there, so they're all 4 pretty big priced guys that I'm keeping on the bench. So the funds are a little bit. So at the moment, looking at it, if I go de Kock, I can't get someone like Webster. I'll have to go down someone lower like a bowler. If I go Clark, it allows me to get Webster and others. So I need to, I guess, really look at the things. I think de Kock is your logical choice, the better player, but is it that overseas player coming in and taking a while to hit the form? I don't know. So but as to your question, sorry, Sammy Harper, you're down the bottom at the moment, so it's between those other 2 for me.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so that game against the Thunder, who you play guys. You should be looking at starting to trade some of them in this week too. They're on the double next round. I've locked in Ollie Davies and Bancroft. I'm trading those 2 in this week. I've already got Matt Gill, so I've started him. Unfortunately, he hasn't been great, but there's no point in me selling him with the double coming up. I may as well just bench loop him and hope that he somehow comes good. We'll go to you first, Timmy. You trading any Thunder players in this week?
I'll probably look at trading in 1 at the moment. I've got Tanvir Sanger that I started with.
Okay.
Was happy with his round one, not so happy with his round two. But yeah, I agree with the two that you've named there, Bancroft and Davies, mate. If I can make way for one of those at least to come in this week, I absolutely will. Yeah, with the doubles coming up, I'm all over the Thunder boys.
Yeah, Darren?
Yeah, I'm similar to you guys. I'm likely not going to go a Thunder this week. I have Tanvir as well, Sanger already. Put the E on him last week, so didn't have to play him, but I was hoping he'd go a bit better. But yeah, I think if you don't have him, he has to be your number one target. I think Bangers and Ollie are the top two. Both bat only, but you know their bowling's looked a bit off the Thunder at the moment. But I'm concentrating, I guess, on this round and go on as many doubles as I can this round, and then I'll look to get 3 more Thunder in next week, and that'll give me 4. But yeah, Bancroft, Davies, keep an eye on Hales and Sam's as well, and see what they're doing. They're probably the only 4 outside Tanvir that I'd be interested at the moment. I don't think the others are performing. Obviously, we'll see how they go this one. But if I could this week, it would be Bancroft or Davies.
Thames is going to be an interesting one. He hasn't had a great season at all. He doesn't look right. He doesn't. I don't know what it is. He hasn't bowled his 4 overs either game. He copped that injury too when he was when he was batting the other day and he was running between the wickets. He had a bit of an injury too. He's going to be cheap for their double, but do you risk it? That's the problem. And the other one that's going to be I'm keen to keep an eye on today, Jason Sanger. He should come straight back into that team. He'll bowl some overs, most likely too, bowl some spin. He'll probably come into the team for Liam Hatcher, would be my guess, or possibly Jilks and Bancroft takes the gloves. But I would say probably most likely Hatcher drops out. He'll probably slide in about 4 or 5, maybe. He could bat 3 even. They could slot Jilks down the order too. I don't know what they're going to do. So,
good shout on Sanger with Bancroft though. I know I've heard that suggested a while.
yeah.
Hasn't he got a finger problem? I don't think he's kept for a couple of years because of that.
Yeah, you're right. He hasn't kept it. I think you're right. He hasn't kept it all. Even the game of the Shield game not long ago where Inglis didn't play and Whiteman didn't play, and he still didn't keep. They bought some other guy in to keep. So
that's the only.
Yeah.
If he goes to keeper, then yeah, I think he's a must. He's a must in. I'm just not sure he will, but yeah, really good shout on Jason Sanger.
Yeah,
forgot about him. He's cleared and probably back today, isn't he?
Yeah. The only other one that could be a good smoky that's ultra consistent bowling wise for the Thunder also is McAndrew too, and can smack a ball if he can get in early enough. So he could be an option to look at too if you're looking for a bowler for the Thunder too.
Yeah, good shout. He played pretty well the other night. So yeah, he's one that I hadn't really considered, but yeah, looking for a bit of a pod play going into the double.
Yeah, he scored all his points in batting though last game. It was
pretty true.
So what did he come in at? Was it 7, 8? So
he came in around 7 or 8. Yeah, I think he might have came in before because they kept pushing down Chris Green in the order because Chris Green was named to come in at 7. I think he came in and batted before Green because they had the power surge and he can hit a ball. He came up. He's a good hitter. He's a queen hitter, McAndrew. I've seen him bat a few games and he can hit a ball. Don't worry about that.
I think he's a watch McAndrew this week though with what he does. Yeah, if he's getting better with the ball and you've got that potential for batting, like you just need to be aware that that last score that he did was pretty much all batting. That's all.
Yeah. Yep. The only other thing I was going to say too is that the game today against the Stars, I don't think you can take too much out of it, if that makes sense, because the Stars aren't playing well. And you've got to take into account the Thunder's double is against the Heat and the Sixers, which is 2 pretty tough games. So just be cautious of that. Don't just bring a player in because they have one good game today, So don't be sucked in by Jilks if he has a massive game. So. All right, we'll move on to the next game, which is Hobart versus the Renegades. Don't speak too much on the Hobart because they're not really relevant for Supercoach except for maybe Chowdhury, who was really, really good that first game. Do you guys think that it's worth a trade bringing in Chowdhury at all, or not really with a double not coming up till about round, what is it, 6 or 7 for them?
I don't know. It's we all bought him to use as an emergency bench loop due to his dual availability, but he looked all right, scored some runs, and and got played. So he's it's a bit interesting now. It was pretty cool with our interview the other day with mental block.
Sam.
Yeah. So with Sammy Hazlitt. So it's sorry, Sam. I'm sure you will listen to this too, mate. So my apologies. It's way too early in the morning, and I'm drinking coffee instead of beer.
How could you forget about the fellow tragic bloody Broncos?
It's terrible.
Oh
he's a Broncos fan. He lives not far from me here in on Redland Bay in Brisbane. So yeah, it looks shocking. It's just too early in the morning. My apologies, Sam. Yeah, look, it was interesting having the chat with him the other day, and we asked him about Chaudhry, and he said, mate, the guy can hit. He said if he gets in and he gets a decent bat, he can clear the fence more often than not. So he's maybe a sneaky option now as a play in your team as opposed to just there as a bench loop. So he obviously has the dual flexibility, which makes things really, really handy. So yeah, I don't hate it. People trading him in. Obviously, yeah, no double anytime soon, and there's 2 teams on a double this round, so you've probably got bigger things to do. But I don't hate it.
What's your thoughts, Darren?
Yeah, similar. He looked pretty good. I'm not going to be able to go. I didn't start with him, so I don't have him. So I'm not going to be able to. I should say not going to be able to. I'm not going to bring him in this round. Just something I noticed too that the coach mentioned he was on standby for Wadey, and so Wadey and both Meredith are due back and sound like they're coming back soon. So that's something to watch. Obviously, watching him though, he looked really good. He'd been in some really good form.
Yep.
Leading up to that, and he backed it up. His batting looked good. His bowling looked good. His haircut looked different. I don't know if that was good, but fucking a nice little haircut. But no, he looked decent. He's definitely not the worst shout. I don't think the Canes have a double till 7, but he's cheap. If he's your way to, downgrade someone and get your money to get another double player or this round or next round, then he's a decent shout. I guess it depends on your team structure and what you're looking for. But I couldn't talk if he's named. I couldn't talk anyone against him because he looked good. He took a catch as well, and he seemed to field in decent positions from what I saw. So he could be that triple threat at a really good price. So yeah, he looked pretty good.
I had him in my team to start, and he was going to be my bench loop as well. And then I don't know why, but I switched him went in panic mode the first round and switched him to Will Salzman from the Thunder. I don't know why I did that. I don't think he's going to get a game anytime soon, unfortunately. But he's definitely one to keep an eye on. As you said, with Wade and Meredith coming back into that team tonight, I don't know where he fits in. Whether they, Sam Haynes, despite his being an international, is not in great form. Does he miss out? Does someone else miss out? Dermy hasn't been in form. I don't know what they're going to do. So it's very frustrating because they've named their whole squad for this game. They've named 18 players. Like the whole squad's been named, and the Stars did the same thing as well. It's like there needs to be something done about this. They need to be able to cap it like 14 or 15 man squads. It's just ridiculous. Like you look at the NRL, you've got to have a maximum of 19 players named within 24 hours or something. So, but anyway, that's all right. We'll move on. Let's go on to the Gates because obviously they're pretty relevant having the double 2. For me, I'm going to rank these in order. I think Will Sutherland needs to be number 1 if you don't own him. I think Jake Fraser McGurk, can't speak probably day, number 2. And then probably number 3 I'd put between either Zampa or Kane Richardson, but both unfortunately haven't exactly been in great form. I really was pretty keen on Zampa. I thought he was going to really kill it this series after his World Cup, but watching the game the other night, he was just bowling too short and too wide for me. Dad, your thoughts? That sound pretty accurate?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I can't argue. Your top four I already own, so I like your order. Yeah, I guess the other ones is Majib and Tommy Rogers. Whether they come in, I think a lot of people already have Gades in their team, so I guess it depends on that as well. Like what did I say? I've got Sutho, Zampa, and Richo, so I already have three bowlers. Do I really want to go a fourth? And then do they get the batsman as well? So that's where I'm tossing up, I guess. De Kock, Joe Clark, those sort of players as well. I can't argue with you. With Sutho, Brewster, McGurk, Zampa, and Richo seem to be the thing there. I noticed Siddle was named in their squad as well, though. So what does that say? Who's he potentially looking at resting? That worries me, being a Richo and a Zampa owner as well. That may be one of them, especially Zamps, who loves to have a rest around Christmas time. Already had his rest, so hopefully he's good to go. Yeah, not sure there, but no, I can't argue with that order. I think your other ones is your Majib, your Rogers, your De Kock, and your Clark are your options. Pretty good side with lots of options, but I guess you just got to be wary of how many do you want. This being their last double for the season, I believe, too. So yeah, that balancing act.
I mean, I've got 5 at the moment. That was with bringing Fraser McGurk this week. And I already had 3 to start with because obviously they had the double the first round.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 3 I started with, very disappointing. Clark, Zampa, and Richardson so far. Timmy?
Yeah, look, I've already got 4. So yeah, I don't really know. I like Richo. I wonder if they. I don't know. I think just Richo get a rest for I don't know. Yeah, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they're going to rest Zampa to bring in a fast bowler, unless it's a strategic thing. I would think it's fast bowler for fast bowler most likely, although they've obviously got Majib in the side as well. So and Majib heads back overseas. He's not here for the whole season, is he? So he's
I think he's here for most of it.
Is he okay?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, Sid's is pretty awesome. I know he's old and he's not quite doing what he used to do, but he's usually fairly economical. And you would like to think maybe if Richo needs a rest, then Sids comes in for a game.
I guess if the option's there, I'll just throw it out that if you're concerned about Kane Richardson getting a rest, you could potentially put him on your bench and use him as a bench loop if you've got the setup to do it. I think you got to start Fraser McGurk. I think you've got to definitely start Sutherland and Zampa, but Joe Clark and Kane Richardson, I think you could easily set them up as bench loops. Those two. What's your thoughts there on the Darren? What do you think?
Yeah, you could. I was just going to add to one thing I forgot to mention is the Gades' second game of the doubles versus Scorchers at Optus. So it's the graveyard. Like they are just a phenomenal best side in the comp. So is that something you have to think about? Like do the bowlers rip through their batsmen? Do the bowlers get pumped by the Scorchers batsmen? So that's the thing. Look, if you've got the option to do the loop, it's certainly there. I'm on the fence. I don't really like to loop double round players if I can afford to do it. I know some people do. If you've got, I'm not sure how many players people have got the options. That whole current thing's left me a little bit short. That I'm not really going to have the luxury to do too many loops this round. So I sort of have to be careful with that. Like, definitely an option. Obviously, you need to take advantage of your loops. So yeah, if you're worried about that, but being a Richo owner, yeah, I'm worried that he might get a rest. Good point you lads make about Sid's coming in. He's not going to come in for a spin bowler. You don't think, although Optus isn't the greatest spin ground, but you'd think he's probably going to come in for Richo. You wouldn't think it's going to be Tom Rogers. So yeah, possibly that's the
Well,
yeah,
that's a
Luke.
that's a good point, Darren. Because I think if Kane Richardson's going to miss a game, I think it's going to be this game. I don't think they're going to rest him at Optus because it is a bouncy pitch, not really a spinner's pitch. So there's a good chance that Siddle could come in for that game at Optus. They could rest Zampa again. They could rest Majid. I don't know. I doubt it's Majid, but definitely Zampa could be one who misses out. They could also drop out a batter and move Sutherland up and bring Siddle in as an extra bowling option. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's definitely a very valid point and one worth keeping an eye on for sure. All right, we'll quickly get through this. The next game is the Sixers versus the Stars. Obviously, Stars we've already spoken about. Sixers, obviously, if you've still got Tom Curran, he's definitely sold. Still going to miss another 3 games. I don't think I would be trading anyone in from the Sixers. You guys agree on that? I think this is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sixers don't have a double. I mean, they play single games, so they don't have a bye for the rest of the season. There's no real player that's jumping out at me personally.
Yeah. All right, the last game is Perth versus the Scorchers. Now, obviously, big news for the Scorchers with Ashton Turner gone for the season. Not really super coach relevant, but could be very relevant in regards to the way that they use their bowlers because he's very much a very strategic captain, probably one of the best captains in the game. So I don't know how they're going to utilise that bowling attack now. But I'm interested on this because they've got back-to-back buys coming up the next 2 rounds too, right? So, what's your thoughts on Conley? Do you think he's a hold, or do you think you'd be trading him if you didn't really have the option? I mean, for me, it would be a no-brainer to trade him to Jake Fraser-McGurk if you had no other option, and it's pretty much a straight swap. What's your guys' thoughts on that, Timmy?
Yeah, look, it's a straight swap to JFM. I think it's almost a no-brainer. With the double bye coming up for the Scorchers, mind you, there was a little bit of talk this week, and I can't remember what the source was, but there was a little bit of talk of maybe trying to play that catch-up game when they've got the double bye in there somewhere, as in the game that got rained out, or not rained out due to pitch issue, replaying that game. So, yeah, look, nothing's come out, so you just don't know. But it would suck to sell Connolly and then find out that they do play a game in there somewhere.
Yeah, Darren, what about you? What's your thoughts on that? And obviously also too, what's your thoughts on selling guys like Jai Richardson, Ty and Hardy?
Yeah, I think just on that first one, Turner being out for the season's a blow. Like he's the best skipper in the comp easily, in my opinion, just very, very good. So that makes it interesting as well. Like who gets the skipper call? Like Inglis is the vice captain, but they looked a bit lost with Inglis as skip once Turner went off the other night. So that makes you wonder whether Inglis keeps it. Personally, I thought Eskenazi was a little bit unlucky to be cut. Obviously, they favour Cooper, bit of Vogue's love child. That they think he's a future superstar, which it certainly looks like he is. He's damn good. But I think he stays in the side, but I really think he slides down. He slides down that order. So then is he at that 6 or is he at that 7? And is he an option to bowl maybe 1 or 2 at the most? He makes it a hard case to hold. A further twist in it too is Perth play that last game, so you're not going to find that out till the last game of the round. Are you going to be stuck with Cooper then in that role, and you have to play him? That's something I guess you need to take into account. I'm not actually a Cooper owner. I made a little bit of a late panic trade in round 1 where I saw Hardy and thought Hardy was going to bowl 4 and 3. I sort of had to get him, so I flicked Cooper and Tanvir for Hardy and Mackenzie, the spinner at the Scorchers. So I was lamenting that after round 1, and then Hardy went well last game, and Cooper didn't. So funny BBL swings and roundabouts, so it's good. But I'm going to hold Hardy through that. I just think he's too valuable. I think that double double doubles that they've got coming up. I'm going to want lots of scorches. If I own Cooper, I'd be pretty much looking to hold him. I don't think he's that expensive. I think he's a jewel. I think he's going to be in that side somewhere. He's going to be valuable for the double doubles. Being, he could bat anywhere. He could bowl. He could do that stuff. But a lot of moving pitches with that turner out that I think you just need to watch. I would just be careful with that Scorchers game at being the last game of the round, that people might get caught out if he drops. But I don't see any other option. Like, does Eskenazi come straight back in? People have mentioned maybe Whiteman might come in. But either way, you think Cooper slides down that order, don't you?
I think it really depends for me. I mean, I know Honeyball had a bit of a say on this. He said that there's a chance that Sam Whiteman could come into the team, but then there's a world where, like you said, Tedeschi comes in, Connolly goes down and bats 5 or 6, or they could bring Nick Hobson in as a bit of a finisher at the end, similar role to what Turner does. It's hard to know. So
if Whiteman comes in, isn't he opening, or you think he might be somewhere else?
He might bat somewhere else. He could just bat back down the order, but I think he's more of a top 4 batter myself. But the issue is we're not going to know till last game. So I think if you can avoid playing Conley, don't play him. Sam Whiteman, if you're looking to use him at all as a loop, don't do it, because there's a chance he could come in. And this is a risk because we're not going to know till because it's the last game. So I'm sure everyone's got stars and strikers and heat players this week you can use as your loops. So use one of the guys on the bye as your captaincy loop or your bench loop. Don't use Sam Whiteman. As I said, there's a chance he could come in that team. We're just not going to know till last minute. So yeah. What about you, Tim? Anything else on the Scorchers? What are you doing with Jai Richardson?
Yeah, well, I sold Jai last week, but kept AJ Ty. Yeah, I think I'll probably hold Ty through the double bye, and then obviously keep him for the double. Yeah, look, Connolly is an interesting one now, the more I think about it. He's someone that I could probably play this week, but maybe have a Gades, one of my Gades who's been a bit rubbish, as playing as my emergency and do it that way, and make the decision late on, maybe saving a trade for as late as I possibly can too, and at which point then maybe take Connolly out. We'll wait and see. Yeah, I don't know. I think you want to. The hardest part's going to be having 2 buys in a row and then 2 doubles in a row. So you're going to want 5 or 6 for the double at least. But it's really hard when you've got the bye first, and especially when a lot of us have just had a team. I mean, I just had, I've got 7, 8, I think, that I've got to trade out between strikers. Yeah, 7, sorry, between strikers and heat players. So you sort of can't keep them all. You can't trade. If I trade 4 of them out this week, then I'm probably stuck with Connolly and AJ Ty. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's I don't think I'd be in as big a hurry to get rid of all of them. But Ty I will be keeping.
I think you've got to prioritise selling your strikers and your heat before your Scorchers players, obviously, this round, because a lot of us are going to be loaded up with them. Going to have probably 6 or 7 of them. A lot of people are going to be boosting this round to get rid of all of these guys too. So I'm hanging on to Ty at the moment. I'm also going to hang on to Conley. Just going to keep them through for their double. I'll just sit them on the bench. Ty's unfortunately started to lose a lot of cash, but he's going to come good eventually. He's too good of a bowler to be trading out. Just have him sitting there. So, all right, that's all the games done and dusted. So let's talk trades and VC and C options. Timmy, what are we looking at for this week?
Did we want to do what's the go first?
Oh yes, let's do that first. Yeah. Nearly forgot about that.
This week's this round's thrilling edition of What's the Go with Timmy O. These are our questions that come in from our viewers and listeners coming straight out. I'm just going to get stuck in so we can speed things along. First question comes from Paul Chester. He asks, Bancroft or Ollie Davies, which one do you select from the Thunder and why? If you had to select one only, one final Gades, Stars spot, Quinton Cock, Rogers, Webster, Ralph, and why? I think we've touched on both of these questions. We reckon Bancroft and Ollie Davies are probably two, well, must-haves really for aiming for the Thunder double. That's obviously not necessary this round, but they've got the double next round. So look, I think as far as, well, you're saying one or the other at the moment, I'm probably leaning towards Bancroft more so just on form. Roscoe, you the same?
Bancroft is his opening and in form too. I think it's, yeah. If you
Yep.
can afford Bancroft, definitely go Bancroft.
Super. Daz?
Yeah, mate. Agree. Bancroft's got the better role in form. Love Ollie, but bangers over Ollie.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm assuming he's got Tanvir Sangha already, because otherwise I'm sure he'd be in the equation as well. So the second part of his question, one final Gades or Stars spot, Quinton de Kock, Rogers, Webster, Ralph, and why? I guess we've talked about this a fair bit. Quinton de Kock's obviously got the upside. Webster, we don't really know what his role is going to be. Ralph, we think he's going to be here for at least 4 of their 5 games, might get in the 5th game as well. So I would probably say for me personally, it's out of de Kock and Ralph, and I'm probably leaning more towards Ralph. Ross?
I'm just going to say Webster to be different.
Of course you would. Daz?
I don't know. I mean, Ralph's the way for me. Without knowing he's definitely going to play that double of round 5, it's just, I don't know. Can you bring in someone who's only going to be playing 3 of the next 5 games when you can be bringing someone who's going to be playing 5 of the next 5 games?
Yeah, but we think he's going to be playing 4 of the next 5.
Well,
so we think he should hopefully.
We don't know that though, do we?
Well, we don't know that for sure, but we're hoping he'll get the first game of the second double in. Well, I mean, yeah, here's hoping. At the end of the day, they've got a double this round. He should go well. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer to me. Dad's anything to add?
Oh, mate, that's tough. What did you go? You went Ralph. You went Webster. I'll go de Kock. Nah, look, really tough. That they all have pros and cons. Like, and I think it also depends on your team and its structure and what works for you. I don't think there's a 100% definite for everyone without looking at it. I mean, de Kock opens and is a wicket keeper, fantastic international, but he doesn't seem like he's in form at the moment. Webster's got that good role. We think he may bowl or won't bowl. That's tough. Ralph, you're pretty sure he's going to get his 4 overs in, so he's likely. But is he then off after that? So then there's that one. Who was the other one?
Tommy Rogers.
Yeah, and then there's Tom Rogers that has been a little bit underwhelming, but on his day is a gun bowler. But then he's got Perth at Optus in that second game. Is that good or bad for him? Yeah, look, sorry, whoever it was on the fence, but it's sitting on the fence. It's a really tough one. And I think it depends on what you got. Like, honestly, I don't think any of them are a bad choice. It just is going to depend on what his team makeup is and what he's looking for.
And then add Steckity into the mix too. I mean, that's not one that he's brought up, but I'm pretty keen on Stecks as well. So yeah, it's again, you don't really know what the role's going to be and will he play all of the games.
The only thing that worries me about Steckity is job security, because these dads saying he was available for the last game and not selected. It's like that's very much a concern for me. It really is. They're playing the Thunder at Albury, which is the baddest paradise, and then playing at SCG, which is probably not going to really suit his bowling. So the question is, does he play both the games? So I mean, it's very risky. That's the thing. I think at the price, you're better off going Ralph over Steckity. I think they're pretty much a similar price at the moment. Yep. I think.
120 versus 118.
Yeah, I just think Ralph's a lot safer than Steckity. Like to play more games.
Super. Next question, Dan Morgan, Captain Morgan. Dan Morgan, I already have 4 Gades, JFM, Maddo. Oh, mate, I feel sorry for you with Maddo. No. I cut him really fast after round 1. Yeah, that's a whole other issue. I think Maddo's on my shit list and never again. Now watch him go ton up. JFM, Maddo, Richo, and Zampa. Who should I who should my fifth be out of De Kock, Sutherland, and Rogers? I think you've got to go
that's
Sutherland,
easy.
and I think
That's
that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just leave it at that and move along. Thanks, Dan. Chris Mullet, Fino. I'm assuming the mullets has he got a long haircut or something? There's no hyphen in there, so I'm guessing that's not his legit name. Is Richardson from Perth a sell for Berendorf? I think Richo's a sell. I think he's going to keep losing cash. He obviously could do anything, but for Berendorf, I don't know. I don't think you can trade in Perth players with the double bye looming. I'll be waiting a little while longer. Both boys are shaking their heads, so I guess we're all on the same page.
Sell him to a Gate or a Star.
Yeah. Corey Blacklad, should I target De Kock and Majib and Rogers, or get a couple of Thunder players, as worried some Stars players aren't good enough, unless Steckity is a good buy for the double? When does Majib have to leave? We think Majib's here for most of the tournament. Steckity, again, we're not really sure on. Should I target De Kock, Majib, or Rogers? I think we've sort of talked enough about them. Majib, we probably haven't talked about a lot. Bowled pretty well the other night. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how many you really want to have. And it obviously depends on the makeup of your team there, Corey. Like I said, I've already got 4 Gades. I probably can't bring in any more with the Stars having 5 games over the next 3 rounds. So I'm probably targeting 3 Stars and a Thunder player, or 4 Stars.
The only thing I'm going to say on Majib is, as we said earlier, Albury batting paradise. Sorry, they're not playing Albury. My bad. Sorry. They're playing at Hobart, short boundaries. Don't mind you for that game, but the game against Perth and Optus, I'm not really keen on that matchup. So
yeah,
that's the only thing for me with getting Majib is that they're not really spent in the deck see the games that he's playing on.
Yeah. Daz, anything to add?
What was his question again?
So should I target De Kock, Majib, Rogers, or can I get a couple of Thunder players? As worried the Stars players aren't good enough, unless Steckity is a good buy for the double, and when does Majib? So he's got about 5 questions in there. So should I target De Kock and Majib and Rogers, or get a couple of Thunder players?
I'd be targeting the double game players this round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up a Thunder player as a fourth trade. You're gonna you bench boost. And then the next part, Steckity, we've talked about. We don't know. And Majib, I agree with Roscoe. I like him for the first game, probably not for playing Perth in Perth. So Corey, I hope that answers your question. Dave London, our silent, what do we call him? Our silent partner from off the bench, I guess you'd say. Dave's our fifth wheel. Just doesn't come on the show, but he does everything behind the scenes that the rest of us do. How many Gades should I be targeting for round 3? How many will you boys have? I'll have 4. Roscoe, how many you got?
5.
5. Daz?
I have 4 now. It'll likely be 5.
Yeah, okay. And targeting, well, there you go. So much the same question. Awesome. That's about it for What's a Go with Timmy O.
Alrighty, thank you very much to those guys for sending the questions, and thank you, Timmy. All right, let's get on to trades and B, C, and C options to finish up this podcast. We'll go to you first, Darren.
I think VC is pretty easy. It's vanilla, but I think it's vanilla for a reason. Maxi into Chief, into Southo. Personally, I hope Maxi goes well. First game, I can just do the loop. Just because I am worried about that Perth Scorchers game in Optus. Southo, brilliant player, triple threat, but we saw last night that he can go low. So I'm hoping it's Maxi, but what other star are you going to trust? Honestly, each their own, but it's definitely going to be Maxi. Then probably into Southo, like I said. Hopefully I don't have to choose, but into Southo, you could take a flyer on the Rooster McGurk if you're feeling dangerous in that there. But they're my VC and Cs. Yep.
Yeah. What about trades? Do you want to discuss trades, Darren, or not?
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss trades. Like I guess we have covered it, across in the potty today. That it does depend on your makeup. There's a lot of moving pictures with it. Like I'm keen on Steckity. I know there's that risk that he was fit and they didn't pick him, but in my mind, like, he's come from the Prime Minister's 11. He's picked in that for a reason. He's a gun bowler. They've dragged him away from Brisbane. He's a really good player coming into a team that is lacking that sort of that bowling strike power that they need. I don't see a world where he doesn't get picked. I could be wrong, but if he's named this afternoon, then yeah, he's straight in for me. Harris Ralph, I'm eyeing off as well. Like I said, I need to get myself a wicketkeeper, so it's either De Kock or Joe Clark. Do things. I'm going to have to boost this round because of all the players I'm going to hold, and because of that idiot Tommy Curran getting bumps. It's cost me another player that I had to buy a heat back, so that's forced me into a boost there. So then I'll just decide I'm going all out on the double gamers, and I'm just going to have the one Thunder sitting there. So I'm looking to have nine double gamers going into this round. But yeah, definitely those two, Stackety and Ralph, and then either De Kock or Clark, and then that last one I'm sort of on the fence. I'm thinking Webster, but I gotta weigh it up.
Timmy?
Yeah, at the moment, I haven't done the number crunching, but the four I'm probably aiming for is Bancroft, Stackety, Webster, and Ralph.
All right, VC and C, pretty same.
Yeah, much the same as Daz. Yeah, I think you're mad if you don't VC Maxi. And then, yeah, it'll obviously depend on who I bring in, but probably captaincy on Sutherland. I do like the sneaky one on JFM. I talked him up right throughout the preseason, and it cost me big time because I sat him on the bench with my loop situation after the last round. So it's anyway, is what it is. I had him as my emergency and then switched him with Connolly just before the Perth game. So that one hurt me a little bit, but is what it is.
All right, well, my VC is on Maxi, same as everyone else. And C will probably be on the cheap as well. I don't mind Fraser McGurk as a bit of a shout out, but I'd rather go for the all rounder, someone who's going to get a bat and a bowl. I mean, I'm not really keen on that matchup, like Darren said, against the Scorchers in Perth. Don't really see Renegade players, unfortunately, scoring too well there. So at the moment, my trade-ins are Fraser McGurk, Bancroft, and Ollie Davies. I am going to boost this round. I want to get through the first game and see how that goes, and then decide on my fourth trade after that. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may even have to decide before, because I really don't want to be bringing any other gauge in, because I've already got 5. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. So that's it. All right. Well, that's it for today's podcast. Thank you, Darren, for jumping on. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, lads. Cheers,
Timmy. And Timmy, thanks as always.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, mate. It was very different doing one in the morning and having a coffee beside me instead of a cold beer. But change is as good as a haircut. And I don't know about Daz, but up in Townsville, but the weather here in Brisbane today is absolutely beautiful, not a cloud in the sky. So I'm looking forward to a great day out. Already been for a run and a swim this morning, so it's only upwards from here.
Queensland for you, Timmy. Beautiful one day, perfect the next day.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. You stay nice and dry up there.
I will, mate.
To all our fans, Merry Christmas. Have a great Christmas and enjoy the Boxing Day festivities. I know it will be. I mean, it's about 12 hours straight of cricket on Boxing Day between the Test match and 2 BBL games. So park your butt on that bloody couch, get the beers out, and enjoy your Chris in your Boxing Day. And we will be back to do our next podcast for round 4 on Wednesday night before the next round starts. Until then, good luck with your round and all the best. Thanks, everyone.
Best of luck to everyone doing the Sydney to Hobart yacht race too. It looks like a bit of an interesting weather pattern for this year. So yeah, best of luck, stay safe, and go hard, guys. I got plenty of mates that do the race this year, and yeah, so unfortunately I'm not doing the race, having a year off, but yeah, best of luck, guys, and stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.